You're watching NappyCast by Jason Nappy Weather. The first summer preview of the season is coming for the Northeast. Yes, here it comes. High pressure is going to be stationed 2 hours south. This high pressure, this ridge right here, is going to pump up heat and humidity from the south. So dew points in the 60s, highs 80s, 90s, record-breaking heat out ahead of this cold front that's going to slow down as it marches across the country. There will be some severe weather with that cold front across the heartland. We'll talk about that in the forecast in the next couple of minutes here. Right now, temperatures here, you can see where they are spiking out ahead of the cold front up towards the plains, and you're going to see that continue. High pressure is going to push south, and that is going to pump in this heat from the south out ahead of this front here. Pacific Northwest still on the cool side around that high, with that breeze coming out of the northwest there. So temperatures start to heat up back east. Here's a look at the satellite picture where there's some wildfire smoke going on still. You see some of this wildfire smoke here starting to come in. Let me make that a little bit bigger. I'll go ahead and do that for you. And yeah, the wildfire smoke is going to be moving especially into the mountains today, but also back towards the East Coast. It's starting to really kind of dissipate this wildfire smoke, so I don't expect it to be as big a deal as it was. You see this little feature here starting to pull east and pull that smoke in. Now here's the moisture out ahead of the cold front that's coming in from the south here. Here is your cold front back towards the high plains, the southern plains, and the upper Midwest. And that's going to be sparking showers and thunderstorms in the forecast today. The National Weather Service here highlighting that level 2 threat from basically Missouri all the way down to Texas. You've got that here. It's a level 2 out of 5. A level 1 as it heads towards Chicago, where the threat is not going to be as severe there, but definitely some downpours in the forecast, some hail, and some gusty wind, even a few tornadoes with this system coming through today, okay? And then looking at the weather highway up in the sky, 25,000 feet up in the sky, you can see these features on the weather highway. So here is your energy from the front that's coming through. Here's a little cutoff low pressure system down the Gulf of America. And then here's going to be your ridge that comes in to pump up that heat for the East Coast as this upper level low slides east here. So here we go. Let me put the map into motion, show you this in more detail, take you out a couple of days. So here you've got your ridge, but you also have a feature that's probably going to be subtropical. Over here, Georgia, Carolina, this feature right here, several inches of rain, probably not a tropical storm, subtropical, so it doesn't have all the characteristics of a tropical storm, but it will bring rain down to Georgia, Carolina. They don't really need it. And that ridge comes in here with eventually this front is going to flatten a bit. So what that means is that training of showers and thunderstorms and a threat for flooding. Anytime a front kind of falls apart and flattens, it becomes just about stationary. We'll see that push up towards Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and New York. Okay, now put the map into motion for the weekend. Here comes your rain for about the 13th weekend in a row in New England, a very weak trough that comes through. So there will be showers around. Generally, you're thinking about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of precip total for the 3-day period from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday that could linger. And then here comes a big bowling ball of energy. By Monday of next week, this trough comes through the Great Lakes. And this trough right here is going to swing some moisture in to the East Coast, okay? But the difference with last week to this week is that trough does not dive east, but it does move quickly, and it does swing this trough through here, okay? So you're going to have temperatures cool down by the middle of next week with that trough swinging through, but not as cool as it was because that trough not sitting on top of us. And then for the following week, notice here, this is a lot more of a zonal pattern here with high pressure to the south. That means temperatures are going to heat up. It also means that we're not going to see as much precipitation as we've seen, okay, as the jet stream finally starts to head north just a bit. So here's a look at the precipitation, 24-hour precipitation from the trends here. You can see where it is for today. It is over towards the heartland where you have that precip is focused, and also down towards Florida with that weak spin-up low going on through the atmosphere, upper level low splitting through. So it's going to be chilly in Florida. And then here comes the precipitation from that likely non-tropical or subtropical feature here down toward Georgia, Carolina. Here's that trough that is running into that ridge of high pressure, and it's falling apart over Michigan, okay? And that pulls to the east. And then eventually, the subtropical feature heads out to sea for the most part, and then you just get rain, plain rain, for the 13th weekend in a row for the East Coast. And that happens this weekend. And then for next week, watch what happens as we get this ridge to build in. Not as much precip, more likely pop-up shower activity there. So here's the look at the National Hurricane Center. Here's your 10% formation of this probably subtropical low at best here. Georgia, Carolina gets soaked. I don't expect this to have a name on it. And then that pulls out of here for in a few days, okay? Now, temperatures. We want to talk about this unofficial heat wave that's coming our way. So anytime you see a circle here, that is a record high opportunity, okay? So we put the map into motion. It's today. Tomorrow, yeah, a lot warmer. 80s and 90s, okay? So you're going to see temperatures spike quite a bit. And then more record high opportunities in the low 90s from New Hampshire. It looks like Manchester there. Back down towards basically Westchester in New York. You've got, and even Western Mass, you've got 90s. This is without the humidity, okay? And then that system pulls through, we cool down a bit, so it'll be hot in Texas, record heat in Texas, 90s and triple digits there. And then look at all the heat building out towards the desert southwest, back towards Arizona. You've got easily more than 100 degrees there. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on the Northeast right now. I thank you for watching me. If you've been watching from the West Coast or the High Plains, you've got this wildfire smoke coming into Pennsylvania to come into New York right now. Not as thick and dense. Still clear over Maine. We had some wildfire smoke last night. Not enough to stop you from seeing the northern lights that popped up. And then here's the forecast in a place like Hartford, where it is up to the mid-80s. Then we cool down Saturday with the rain. We stay cool with that trough, swinging a cold front through, but then we warm back up around that ridge for next week. So we're getting very close to being in the clear. It's going to be mid-June before I can say that, but we're getting close to being in the clear as we get into a time frame like, you know, the middle of June, where we have to get into the clear, right? It's taken that long before we can say that the frost threat is over, right? We've taken that far, but we're finally getting there. Now I want to focus in on my loyal followers in Maine just for a few minutes here, show you the forecast where it is sunny right now. It's going to be a sunny day. Then we crank up the heat. Inland today makes a run for 80s and 90s plus humidity tomorrow, and then the next day with rain returning, even some thunderstorms in the forecast, as that heat is going to destabilize the atmosphere a bit, and there will be a threat for some thunderstorms popping up in the forecast into late Thursday. Friday, not as much, as that kind of system falls apart. So here's your forecast in the mountains the next 10 days. So the temperature is going to be 85 degrees tomorrow. Wow. So 85 without a threat of any severe thunderstorms, any really rain. I think the ridge holds on Wednesday. Thursday late, we get those thunderstorms, 82. Humidity starts to ramp up late Wednesday into Thursday. And then there's that rain for the weekend. I've got Sunday dry, but right now some showers are trending that way. So we'll see, but it won't be as heavy as Friday or Saturday. And then next week, got that cold front to come through to spark some showers in the mountains. Now, at the inland, it's a different story. 86, 91 p.m. thunderstorms. We'll see how many of those make it down from the mountains from that front. And then showers on and off Friday. Saturday, a few of them should be heavy. We get out of the 80s and 90s down to the 60s and 70s. And next week, we're back in the 70s and 80s with those showers on and off, but not all day washouts next week, just to pop up, mostly afternoon showers at best. At the coastline, you don't see the rain all that much Thursday. I've got some PM thunderstorms in there for wording, but graphically I took it out. I don't expect this to be a big deal, just a few at most. Most of these are going to fall apart before they get down to the coastline. And then Friday, it's on and off showers. Saturday, on and off showers again. And then next week, 60s, 70s, and 80s are back in the forecast. Thank you for watching NappyCast.com.